We'll bring you the latest crime statistics in Ghana and hear from authorities. But first, let's take you back to Royal Motors to see how those there are coping.
Some hours after armed robbers stormed the Royal Motorcycle to rob some properties here, we've been speaking to some of the residents who've been narrating to us exactly what happened. One of them I spoke to says 2 police officers tried quelling the attack, but they had to retreat because the armed robbers continued firing at them. The workers here will not speak to us. They say they've been told not to divulge any information to the press. Right now, there are no police officers around as the workers in this industrial area are going about their normal duties. But some of the residents we've been speaking to are calling for more patrols in this area because they say it's an enclave of businesses.
And it's just like the whole scenario went like a Hollywood film, you know.
It's a film.
And the police were coming from the bank because they guard the bank here. So they jumped into our factory and they heard that as the shooting, so they were coming to cross the car. So the car was coming like this. And as they saw the police, they stopped. So the police fired on them, but the police is alone. The other one is not having a gun. So as he fired, the thing went through the car and hit another car. But seeing things, the policeman said that they are more than him. He has to run to our factory and seek refuge in the bush here. And they all ran into the factory here. So
the police officers?
The police officers, because what they can do is what they have tried their best, but
were they holding guns?
One was holding gun. He was able to shoot one into the car, but I think the people are more than him. So as the people wield their gun, they say, no, I have to run for my life. They need to put the camera for surveillance, you know, as the advanced country used to do when you go to South Africa, Dubai, everywhere in the world. Now we are in a world whereby crime is growing because of hardship of the youth. And then the government too can get cameras for surveillance around and see how people operate, because this is industrial area. We have a lot of foreigners here who sleeps in kiosks and all those things. We don't know where they get their informations, and I don't know what they are doing, and they have to look for all those loopholes and put things in shape. I think that will help the country.
Oh, okay. Actually, I don't think the same. I think the guys doing it have taken advantage of maybe the government specializing on other things, and they think they've left the security system open so they can make a use of it. That is what I think. So maybe the guys are very strategic. They know where to stand, and we just came out of Christmas and everybody has gathered its words. So they aim at those people and kind of want to break on them. So I don't think it's a government issue. It's just that they are strategic, and so the security system have to be more strategic, and they should go along. The patrol team should be going along, and
So that is Maxwell Agbagba. They're trying to find out how those who were robbed yesterday, or the area that was robbed yesterday, how the people there are coping. Now, from Oyarifa to Fafaha and from Oyibi to Ashiye, armed men continue to attack residents. And on 2 occasions, they've killed 2 victims, including a pensioner. Now, the situation is so dire that some residents are considering relocating from these communities. Security experts say the police is making matters worse by their handling of the situation. Adam Bona and Dr. Aning are some of them.
We are seeing almost a 45% growth in the 5 major crimes in Accra within the space of a year. Okay? Now, a disaggregation of these crimes and our abilities to respond to them in terms of using the prosecutorial service even paints a much more damning picture. But if you look, less than 5% of all crimes in this country are solved. 82% of the crimes in this country are still, in inverted commas, being investigated. So if we take, for example, the first quarter of 2017, there were almost 18,000 incidences in Accra alone. Out of these 18,000, almost 6,400 were recorded in January, 7.5% were sent to court, 2% were convicted, so terribly low conviction rates, 0.11 acquitted, 5.37 still awaiting trial, 11% undetected, and 82% still under investigation. If we go back to 17 years ago, the number of cases that are being investigated has consistently remained around 65% to 80%. So we have a backlog of cases that are unsolved, and it creates this impression that your ability to commit crime and escape and be free is pretty high. And it's not going to change. Well, let me repeat this point that I've consistently made. If we don't understand the demographic changes and how these demographic changes and increases leads to increasingly unplanned urban spaces, in which we don't factor how best to police and regulate crimes, then we are going to see considerably much worse occurrences, more daring occurrences. Now, you and I have had this conversation here on several occasions. 2.3 unregistered guns in civilian hands. The materials are available. We did it together with the Ghana National Small Arms Commission. But there's no seriousness around these issues. The criminals understand this, they know this, and they're bringing the fight to us, just like Paul said. So every sophisticated criminal knows that, as Paul is saying, without audits and surveys, the possibility that I'll be arrested is almost non-existent. So then we need to ask ourselves some very tough questions. Policing doctrine and philosophy, as Paul and I are saying, cannot occur without a national security framework, which we don't have, which we've bandied about, we've spoken about. Different ministers have intimidated us, intimidated our friends in the military who thought, we had to have this philosophy. So there's a certain political lacuna in understanding how security management and policy making must be done. Then we have securocrats, both on the civilian side and on the uniform side, looking at issues of crime service. Until we do this crime service, and probably I should go to the bank and borrow some money, and we should do this service and then sell it to government. Well, I just don't get it. So regular crime service and publication and audits demonstrating what is changing and how things are going. Then we need to certainly improve, Paul, our small.
It is more of an insider job where somebody tipped off and said, the bullion van is coming. I mean, I don't want to disclose all the information I have, but at least I picked up intelligence with regards to how, these guys went about robbing the facility. And more so, if you look at it, one will say our crime scene management team, it is something that we probably would have to look at. I would have wished that as the incident happened, the place would have been cordoned off so that, at the end of the day, fingerprints would be lifted from objects that these people might have touched.
You heard the experts there. Many people are worried about the trend of armed robberies in this country at the moment. We've been speaking to some of them. Hear them.
They have machine guns and all stuff like that. Where do they get them from? Is it from the government? Is it from the police people? Or do you have some people behind somewhere producing them with the guns? Because with what I'm hearing, the gunfires and all those stuff, it's more like Fast and Furious movie. Yeah, everybody is shooting. And there are a whole lot of people around at this daytime, and there are so many shooting going on. So I think the government should check and do something about it.
We need to think of the policing in the country and also crime prevention, education in terms of crime prevention and community safety. So let's think of the police, how we can equip them to protect visibility. Having the police all over in the communities instead of keeping them at the posts and the police stations is something that the government need to consider.
We, the citizens, we are afraid if we hear those cases. I will appeal to the IGP to combat robbery in this country, but because it seems like nowadays it is becoming rampantly.
The police should be equipped. They should say something. They should tell us something being done so we could at least be at rest, because we are very scared. I am very scared because robbery used to be just in the night. Now it's in broad daylight. So it's really scary.
Anything could happen at any point because most of them are daylight robbery. So I don't think in daylight, we think we are safe. But sometimes we think we are safe for daylight. But as this daylight robbery, it doesn't make us safe. And I don't know what could probably be done about that. But I would just hope something could be done about this daylight robbery.
As a Ghanaian, I'm not okay with it at all. As a Ghanaian, I expect the government to do more. I know the government have recently revamped the police sector, which is very good for us. But at the end of the day, I thought as a Ghanaian, there's much that can be done to improve the police sector. So I'm appealing, even though I'm part of the government, I'm proud of the government, so far everything is going on well. But please, I beg to differ on our security. I really wish much could be put into it. Helping to give information to the police is something that the community must engage in, or maybe a community watchdog getting involved in those things can be very good.